it's Mrs. Lamando and I am back with the Unteachables. We are on chapter 11 and Barnstorm is telling this part of the story. Thanks to Ribbit, I'm still in the Golden Eagles. It's the nicest thing a teacher ever did for me. Not that I love teachers so much, it's their fault I'm in SCS 8. I'm not unteachable and I'm definitely not stupid. I'm like any other kid, I can learn, but if you give me a choice not to, I'll pick that. They were totally cool with letting me slide so long as the trophies kept coming, but now that I can't play anymore, all of a sudden, my grades aren't up to scratch. Funny how that wasn't a problem last year when I beasted in 3 sports. I load up my tray in the food line and hobble out of the cafeteria. It's not easy to balance a big lunch when you're on crutches. As I scan the tables, the 7th grade girl I don't know, real cute, smiles and waves at me. This happens to athletes a lot. We're kind of celebrities around school. I'm trying to figure out how to wait back without dropping my tray or my crutch when her gaze veers off to my left. She's not looking at me. She's waving to Karnowski, one of my teammates in the Golden Eagles, who's coming up beside me. It's like a gut punch. Karnowski, the scrub, who never even got off the bench before I landed on the injured list. Now he's somebody, and I'm somebody you look right through. Sup, Anderson, he mumbles, stepping in front of me. He and the girl connect and take the last 2 spots at the front table, the best location. Last year, half a dozen people would have scrambled to make room for Barnstorm Anderson. Not anymore. I can take a hint. I'm a Golden Eagle, but not really. What have I done for them lately? If I can't put points on the board today, I'm dead to them. Not even Ribbit can change that. I keep on hobbling, head held high. I'll die before I let them see I care. It stinks that just moving across the cafeteria has to be a major operation. The way I could move used to be what made me who I am. I guess it means I'm nobody, at least till next year. Another problem, I've hung out with jocks for so long I've got nowhere else to go. I set my lunch down next to Aldo and Rain. As I lean my crunches against the side of the table, one of them tips over and whacks Aldo in the shoulder. Hey, he barks angrily. Chill out, it was an accident. In my athlete days, my mind was always on the field or on the court, juking and cutting, faking imaginary defenders out of their jock straps. Now, I'm just off sports. I don't do that anymore, and my poor mind has nothing to focus on. So I spend my time thinking of ways to get a rise out of Aldo. It's almost too easy. Aldo is half-heartedly eating a bowl of split-pea soup while gazing over at Kiana, who's a few tables away, sitting with Mateo and Parker. That's the rest of SCS 8, except for Elaine, who eats alone, surrounded by a buffer zone of empty tables. People have been keeping their distance from her ever since she chucked this kid into the salad bar. Even in the lunchroom, Elaine rhymes with pain. While Aldo's staring at Kiana, I reach over and dump half a shaker of black pepper into his soup. I can't help it. It's almost not my fault. Rain snickers and doodles a napkin sketch of Aldo with smoke coming out of his ears. Meanwhile, Kiana catches Aldo looking at her. Embarrassed, he picks up his soup bowl and guzzles what's left of it, pepper and all. A split second later, a green geyser of pea soup sprays across the room, propelled by a scream. What did you do that for? He rasps. I can't answer because I'm laughing too hard. So is Rain. When Aldo sees the napkin sketch, he stabs it with a spoon, which snaps in half. That gets us a caution from the lunchroom monitor, who raises the quiet alert level from green to amber on the traffic signal at the front of the cafeteria. You've got to tone it down, man, I manage, fighting to control my laughter. Everything makes you fly off the handle. Not true, he bellows in my face, and the traffic signal goes to red. Now nobody's allowed to talk for the rest of lunch, and it's all Aldo's fault. Raymond and I exchange a fist bump under the table. Afterward, when we're walking back to room 117, I mean everybody else is walking, I'm thumping on my crutches, I couldn't resist rubbing a little more salt in Aldo's wounds. Kiana was watching you the whole time, I assure him. She probably thinks you're nuts or something. Did I ask you to put a pound of pepper in my soup, he demands. Okay, but you don't have to get so mad about it. You're mad at me, you're mad at Rain, you're mad at the cafeteria for changing the chicken nugget recipe. You're mad at Ribbit. I'm not mad at Ribbit, he mutters. You said you were before. Yeah, well, I changed my mind. Fine, I agree. Everything makes you mad except Ribbit. I stopped bugging him because I keep thinking about Mr. Kermit, fighting with the office to get me back in the pep rally. Back in room 117 with the rest of the class, we can't help but notice the bright green Velvesuela bent double sticking out of the teacher's trash can. If Ribbit thinks he can get all those things at one time, he's in for a really rough spirit week. I can't understand what makes him tick, says Kiana. Most of the time he never opens his mouth. But blow a Velvesuela and he'll scream you an opera. They make him mad, I say, with a wink at Aldo. He's the Grinch, Mateo pipes up suddenly. I thought he was Squidward, Parker reminds him. Mateo shakes his head. The Grinch, definitely. The Grinch hates Christmas because he can't stand the noise. Well, Mr. Kermit hates Spirit Week because he can't stand the Volvosuelas. Everybody hates something, I retort. I don't like lima beans. Am I the Grinch too? It's not what you hate, it's why you hate it, Mateo replies seriously. Indiana Jones hates snakes because he's afraid of them. Superman hates kryptonite because it's his weakness. The Wicked Witch of the West hates water because it makes her melt. But Mr. Kermit and the Grinch are both haters for the same reason. Noise. Ribbit comes in and the first thing he sees is us staring at his wastebasket and the broken Volvosuela. He seems annoyed at first, but then his expression changes to one of sympathy. I have some news about Spirit Week. It's okay, Mr. Kermit, Kiana interrupts. We know you tried your best to talk the principal into letting us be a part of it. Well, let me tell you about the spirit. The teacher comes alive, making eye contact with each of us as he speaks. No one can command you to have spirit, not principals, governors, presidents, or kings. There's no spirit switch in your brain that can be flipped on or off. Spirit isn't a week you can put on your calendar. It doesn't come from posters or streamers or rallies or funny hat days. And it definitely doesn't come from an ungodly racket with a cheap plastic instrument of torture that was invented purely for disturbing the peace. It's the most he said all year. I can't explain it, but it feels like a breakthrough. Although, what we're breaking through, I have no clue. Maybe it's this. In all my years of school, I never heard a teacher say something that was so completely, totally honest. Chapter 12, and this is told from Parker's point of view. I kick off Spirit Week by getting arrested. I'm on my way to pick up Grams on Monday morning when this cop pulls me over because my taillight is out. The problem is this guy is new, and when I show him my provisional license, he thinks it's a fake ID. So he takes me to the police station, and by the time the desk sergeant straightens him out, I'm late for picking up Grams. She's not waiting outside her apartment building, but when I run upstairs and knock at the door, nobody answers. I drive around the neighborhood. Sure enough, there she is walking along the main drag. I pull alongside her and lower the window. Grams, where are you going? Get in the truck. She keeps on walking and never even glances in my direction. Way back when she was growing up in Israel a million years ago, her mother taught her never to get into a strange car. She forgot most everything else, including the grandson, who's her favorite person, but that stuck. I have to drive half a block ahead, park it out, and accidentally run her into the sidewalk. She recognizes me now. In fact, she's really glad to see me, but not half as glad as I am that I found her. She could have gotten on a bus somewhere and been really lost. She still can't come up with my name, though. You look skinny, kiddo. Have you been eating? I sigh. Why can't you just say you look skinny, Parker? Hey, here's my pickup. Hop in. I'll give you a lift. By the time I drop her off at the senior center, I'm way late. To make things worse, I get stuck behind a giant truck in the driveway of the school. I squint at the sign on the road. At first, it looks like Alien Rot Ant Grid, but that can't be right. Then I recognize the logo from the internet. It's Oriental Trading, the website that you can order bulk amounts of things like joke glasses and light-up necklaces and party stuff. I honk for them to let me pass, but they're already out of the truck, two big guys. They open the back and start hauling these giant cartons into the loading bay of the school. There's no writing on the boxes, but there's a picture, so I know what's inside. Volvosuelas for Spirit Week, hundreds of them. If they really ordered for every class but us, 1,000. My grip tightens on the wheel. What do I care? If SCS 8 is being left out, it makes no difference to me if they've ordered noisemakers for every man, woman, and child on the planet. Then I think of Mr. Kermit, the way he tried to make the principal change her mind even though he hates Volvosuelas. Man, the sound of one just drives him bananas. In all those boxes, there must be enough noise power to bring down a herd of elephants. I pull around the truck, thumping over the curb and driving across some of the front lawn to the parking lot. That's against the rules and my license too, but this is an emergency. I roar into a spot, putting only a tiny scrape on the side mirror of Mrs. Onetta's Mini Cooper. I jump out and head for school without even using my bottle of Scratch Guard. By the time I hit the entrance foyer, I'm flying. I sprint clear across the school, past the gym to room 117. What luck! The other kids are there, but Mr. Kermit hasn't arrived yet. Considering he's a teacher, he sure doesn't seem to have a problem with tardiness, his own anyway. If they gave late slips to staff members, Ribbit would spend his whole life in detention. Maybe that wouldn't be a bad thing for someone who loves crossword puzzles so much. The Volvosuelas are coming, I gasp. One if by land, two if by sea, Barnstorm snorts. This is serious, I insist. Oriental Trading is parked out front, unloading them. Kiana clues in. Mr. Kermit's going to lose it. And it's going to be hard to get any rest, adds Rain with a yawn. It's no fair that everybody gets them but us, Aldo complains. I mean, I don't want a stupid Volvosuela anyway, but it's annoying. Ribbit's right, says Barnstorm. It's fine to have spirit if you really do, like if your team is winning the championship or something. But to have spirit because your principal tells you to because of what week it is, that's dumb. What does school spirit have to do with Volvosuelos anyway, I complain. They're loud, so are car accidents. I actually think about that a lot. Poor Mr. Kermit, Kiana adds. This is going to be rough for him. I wish there was something we could do to make it better. Maybe there is, Mateo muses. Aldo rolls his eyes. What? We send him on vacation to the Death Star until Spirit Week is over? Of course not. He dismisses this. The Death Star is Star Wars. Mr. Kermit is the Grinch. The Grinch isn't real, Kiana explains patiently. But what the Grinch did can be real, Mateo insists. He didn't like Christmas, so he stole it. All of it. All the Christmas stuff in Whoville. Even the Who pudding and the roast beast. Barnstorm's eyes widen. Steal the Volvosuelos? There are like 7 of us, and I'm on crutches. How are we supposed to carry that many? They're in boxes I put in. Big ones, but I don't think they're super heavy. At least the Oriental trading guys have no trouble unloading them. Where do we put them, Aldo demands. In our lockers? Mateo is struck on the holiday TV special. The Grinch loaded the Who's Christmas stuff onto a sled to dump off the top of Mount Crumpet. Too bad there aren't any 10,000-foot cliffs around here. That's what gets me. Guys, what about the river? If you follow school property straight past the athletic fields, you'll eventually come to the banks of Greenwich River, which divides our town in two. Kiana shakes her head sadly. That's not practical. There's no way we can move giant boxes all that way. I'll drive them, I say suddenly. We just have to load them into my truck. I can't describe how I feel. It's not that I'm anxious to do it, but suddenly it seems doable. And knowing it's possible feels like we have to try. Raym looks up from his doodles. We'll get in trouble. No kidding. If we get caught, it's hard to imagine the school will go easy on the kids who just hijacked 1,000 Volvosuelos. The answer comes from, of all people, Elaine. We're already in trouble, she rumbles from her spot in the back of the room. This class is trouble. What can they do to us? Put us here twice? Let's do it. Kiana reaches a hand to the center of our group. For Mr. Kermit. Barnstorm places a crutch over it. I'll show them where they can stick their spirit. Aldo tries to lay his hand over Kiana's, but the crutch is in the way. Nobody tells me what to get worked up about. To the universe and beyond, Mateo explains. We all sign on, even Raym, who is as close to wide awake as I've ever seen him. We have to hurry, I urge. One of the custodians starts unpacking those cartons. It's all over. We head for the loading bay, taking a long way to avoid passing the faculty lounge. The last thing we need is to run into Mr. Kermit heading for room 117, not that he'd ask us where we're going. Luckily, the halls are busy, so nobody takes much notice of the loop we make around the main foyer and backtrack to the storage rooms that connect to the loading bay. Kiana peers around the doorframe. Uh-oh. Following her lead, I sneak a peek into the storeroom. The loading bay is open to the driveway, but the truck is gone. Just inside stand the big boxes. I count 7 of them, stacked 3, 2, 2. Mr. Carstairs stands next to them, the packing slip in one hand, a half-finished bagel in the other. Why isn't he started unloading yet, I murmur. He's probably waiting for help, Kiana whispers back. That means the other custodians could be here soon. Aldo curses under his breath. How are we supposed to get the boxes with Carstairs right there? Mateo has an idea. We need to create a distraction. What distraction, Kiana asks. I can talk to him about the Silmarillion, Mateo volunteers. That's a creation story for the entire mythology of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and we'll try to get him to walk away. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life, says Barnstorm. We need a better distraction than that. Definitely, deadpans Elaine. She rears up a heavy black boot and brings it down full force on Barnstorm's sneakered foot. The scream could probably drown out all those Volvosuelos put together. It causes a major freak out in the hall. Mr. Carstairs comes running. When he sees it's the school's injured sports hero on crutches, howling in agony, the custodian gets his shoulder under Barnstorm's arm, and the two of them begin hobbling in the direction of the nurse's office. Kiana turns, accusing eyes on Elaine. You didn't have to do that. He could have just faked it. Aldo chortles. Not as good as that. We race into the loading bay. Oh, gross, Raym complains. What's gross, I ask. He points. It says it on the boxes. They're gross. Kiana throws up her hands in exasperation. That's not gross. That's one gross. It means it's 144 Volvosuelos in each carton. That makes, Mateo does the calculation in his head, 1,008. I thought we were only getting 1,000. It really seems to bother him. Never mind that. I'll go get the truck. I scramble out of the loading bay and jump the 3 feet down the pavement. I sprint for the parking lot and leap into the pickup. It takes all the restraint I can muster to keep from stomping on the gas. The last thing we need is for my squealing tigers to attract the attention of every adult in school. Suddenly, my perforated muffler doesn't seem like a great asset either. It may sound cool, but we're trying here for stealth. I get out and scramble onto the platform to help with the loading. You know all that stuff about Volvosuelos being light? Well, that goes out the window when you're lifting a box with 144 of them. On the plus side, we've got Elaine, who could lift the load in the loading bay with it. Maybe the truck, too. Kiana and Mateo pile in beside me, but Aldo, Raym, and Elaine have to jog alongside the pickup. I pull around the side of the school and then jump over the curb and start driving slowly along the grass. I glance at the rearview mirror and see Elaine flashing me a thumbs up. I normally try to have as little interaction with her as possible, but right now the gesture gives me heart because I'm pretty scared at this point. Are we crazy? Probably. But that's not the part that bothers me. My main worry is that none of this is covered by my provisional license. And if it gets revoked, who's going to pick up Grams every morning and drive her to the senior center? Wow, so it seems like Parker may be just a little bit nervous that his plan is moving forward. Next time, chapter 13, we will hear from Mr. Kermit. See you then.